Everybody talks about missing or ignoring red flags, but what are some subtle green flags to watch for on a date or with your crush? Resourcefulness, being polite to both you and the people that they interact with. Resourcefulness shows imagination, creativity, and practicality. That's a good one. Being able to enjoy silence with each other. Yes. Not feeling awkward when not talking. Comfortable silence. Positive interactions with people they have no stake or direct gain in knowing. On my third date with my now wife, we were walking in Lower Manhattan. I found an envelope on the sidewalk and went to the building it was addressed to in order to make sure the recipient got it. She said it was this small little thing that made her think I was a keeper. I tend to bees. That's how my wife knew I was a keeper. Edit, this is my first dad joke of the year and my pregnant wife thinks it's the dumbest joke ever. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic year. They don't try to be liked by everyone, and they are okay with the idea that not everyone is going to like them. It can be hard to spot, but I do think it shows someone who is content with who they are, and has a good self-esteem and knowledge about themselves. They listen to what you say and ask you related/follow-up questions, rather than spending most of the time talking themselves. I found that working in sales has drastically improved my dating game because this is exactly what you are taught to do. Meet and greet, then probing questions and building value using targeted statements, then test the waters before you close that deal. When you're walking around and they stop to pet a cat/dog. Oh, hi doggy. So anyways, how's your sex life? Stop trying to play psychologist with me. Be able to laugh together, without being concerned what sound you make and what you look like while laughing. I once snorted while laughing with my crush and we just looked at each other and started pissing ourselves all over again. Meanwhile our mutual friend just stood there chuckling. I did that. She said I was cute and also doing it on purpose and a little annoyed at how adorable I was. Better was the time we got into a laughing fit while eating at the bar and I almost fell off the stool. I love after a good night when your cheeks hurt from smiling. Manners, compromise, non-judgmental, takes responsibility. Manners is good in theory, but in reality it isn't a reliable green flag. Seems like bad parents always compensate with over-teaching please and thank you, so it's just language or gestures for a lot of adults and not an indicator of anything else. Maybe respectfulness is a better way to put it. Respecting your boundaries. God, yes. Placing a boundary doesn't make you a bad person. And you should not have to remind them of the boundaries, it's their job to remember. If they talk positive about others when they're not around. Especially when they stand up for some random person someone else is shit talking about. Hey, Hitler wasn't that bad of a guy. I like to build worlds and make characters and write occasionally. I've got hundreds of characters. When I meet someone and they are legitimately curious about all the weird things I'm thinking, I am so flattered. If they ask me about my stories, I feel like they really want to know me inside. I guess that sounds stupid. Not stupid at all. A person's genuine interest in another is one of the best indicators that said person is worth getting to know in turn. Being able to have a good conversation with them where you both participate equally is huge for me. For me, it's a good predictor of a healthy dynamic in a relationship. If all someone does in a conversation is talk about themselves, ignore what you're saying and interrupt you, the relationship probably isn't going to be much different. They are kind to waiting staff at restaurants/bars/pubs etc. almost always a good sign. If they're mean to cashiers or wait staff but nice to you, they're going to be mean to you eventually. Went to the supermarket with my new GF and we were served by a Vietnamese cashier. After the transaction my GF says, under her breath /ching chong, ching chong. We were not together long, but I could not believe that somehow she thought that, A, it was humor and, B, I would approve. I might have a very special love at first sight kind of thing going on, but the girl and I went to an Asian grocery store and had the time of our lives. We were running around laughing and joking, just having the greatest time. So I think a green flag is just how smoothly things go. If it is no issue at all and almost feels like no effort is needed to make a date, especially at a grocery store, happen, then I believe that to be a good indicator. That's great, but it's temporary though. Something you have to eventually accept is that level of excitement isn't going to stick around forever even if you both stay in love. Eventually things settle down, and if you are always expecting every single interaction and every single moment with them to go smoothly or be exciting, you're only setting yourself up to be disappointed. Being able to enjoy the little, quiet moments with each other is just as important. Absolutely. I've already been through one divorce, mainly because my partner was a terrible match-up for me. All relationships take effort, time, and commitment. I see it like this: 1. Make sure you know your no-go flags, i.e. I'm not religious, so I wouldn't look for someone who was. 2. Make sure you have your own baggage packed up decent enough. 3. Find someone who you mesh with well on the surface. 4. Date. 5. Find the quirks you don't like about them. Handle them as you will, there are multiple good ways. 6. Date/live together, very important, for a couple of years. You should have plenty of ups and downs and be able to determine if they are worth spending your life together with them. 7. Well, hell, if y'all can stand each other's weirdness, still be happy to see each other when you do, work through the tough times, and don't jump on the next piece of ass y'all see. Might as well tie the knot when you feel it's right. I don't like putting it in a list because there are so much that goes into a relationship, but that makes it kind of simple for young readers that might want some advice. My technically first date with her is going to her place, going to make some carbonara, and watch The Princess Bride because she's never seen it. Edit: I don't know how to make this more list-like, but I hope it's readable. I'm on mobile. Hand touching. It means they're very comfortable with you. But it's very lewd. I bet you'd like to hold hands, you slut. I think genuine interest in what you're passionate about and talking about. Like, they listen to you, try to understand even if they're not really into your hobby that much themselves. They ask questions or make nice comments about your thing and they encourage you about it. Talking to someone like that makes you feel anything but being annoying, and it's wonderful. Because, if you truly like someone, it shouldn't matter that much what they're talking about, just seeing them so happy should be a great feeling for you too. You'd want to make them happy. In all honesty, listening to somebody talking about what drives them is so much fun. I was sitting next to a girl that I didn't really know, first year, some mutual friends etc. Turn out she loves knitting, and dogs. Just listening to her talking about knitting, something I've never done, was so much fun. Because she liked it, she showed me some basic stuff etc. I doubt I'll ever start knitting, yet this was probably one of the most interesting conversation I've had in the 4 months that I've been to uni, yet. They text you back. Even if it was their turn. You get me? When you talk about a hobby or interest they don't, yet, maybe, share, they at least express interest and learn some about it. Bonus if they try to find sources other than you to learn on their own. At any sign of inconvenience like you being late or some sort of mistake taking place, them displaying a calm practical manner and moving on in an appropriate time frame. Not when you've consistently been late for years after you two started dating. If they are years late for your first date, you aren't dating. Consistent behavior from that person. Maybe that isn't subtle, but I think it's a good green flag, in any case. Frankly, this is really the only one that matters. Or, more specifically, the other green flags are only green flags when they're done consistently. A lot of people are clever enough to fake being nice for a short time. What if they're always faking being nice? Maybe they were just pretending to be nice for the last 35 years. Staying off their phone, if they get a call or text and immediately ignore it and put their phone on silent when they're with you, then a marriage proposal should be in order. I'm getting to know someone right now who places little value on cell phone use as a means of communication. Uses social media a bit and texts some, but will also leave it at home purposefully when he goes out with friends etc. so he can just be where he is. I found it annoying at first until I realized this thing is basically attached to me. It's been eye-opening and a breath of fresh air to send a message and let it be. If they actually reach out to you on their own, compliment you without you doing it first, and remember things you have told them. Lots of people put up with shit because a huge portion of the population is too selfish to do these simple things, and their partners don't realize how unhealthy not doing those things is. I am too shy to compliment first, but when I get the chance, I usually try to say something nice, even though it goes against my way of communicating. Someone who takes genuine interest in your likes and wants to know more about the topic when you talk to them about it. I'm really into music. Me too. Smashing Pumpkins? I love to do that. Bowfinger had some zingers. Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins. Homer Simpson, smiling politely. She's not on her goddamn phone when you want a genuine and sincere conversation. It's one thing if you've been together a while and are on your phone while hanging out. But if someone is randomly on their phone in the early dating stages, I find that just plain disrespectful. Personally, I want to see depth of character, curiosity and compassion. Instead of talking about shallow things and gossiping/complaining, does he have some level of introspection and focus his energy on being a better person? Rather than being quick to judge others, he would be curious about human nature, people's motivations, and what in their life caused them to become what they are. I just find people like this make better and more interesting partners. Agreed, someone who strives to explore and understand the human condition. Strive to understand the human condition makes it sound so grandiose and maybe a bit pretentious, but I think it can something as simple as someone/a stranger being rude to us, and, instead of immediately labeling him as an asshole, think that we don't know what he's going through, or maybe he's just having a bad day like we all do sometimes. Admitting when they're wrong/apologizing/taking responsibility. My dad always apologized to me when I was a child. I now realize how many adults refuse to apologize or acknowledge how they've hurt their child due to ego, etc. I really value now when an adult can say they were wrong and are sorry, especially to a child. Dad here. I felt it was very important to let my kids see that we are fallible. In situations where it was a mistake I made but not necessarily an apology situation, like a driving mistake or just losing my cool or being impatient somewhere, in the presence of my kids, a minute or two later I might say to them I really shouldn't have done that or said that, or been so impatient, etc. I think the kind of human I'd like to raise would reflect on morality and be introspective, and by apologizing, acknowledging flaws, it not only lets kids see that parents are human and flawed, but it also stimulates them to think about these things for themselves. That they're kind also when they don't get anything for it. Met my BF during college, and the whole class rented some cabins in a ski resort. I fell asleep on the couch after a party, and woke up with a blanket and a bottle of water next to me. Another friend told me he did it, he never talked about it. He also picked up trash from the ground and threw it in a bin on our first date. He's just very, very kind. What kind of class was it that went to a ski resort? I wanna sign up for that class. I think they meant everyone in their class were just chill with each other and planned a vacation together. Or they mean their whole grade level went to the same ski resort, but then that would be a really small college. Being the person to make contact when you carry on with your day-to-day life. I used to go through periods of complete seclusion where I couldn't bring myself to talk to anyone. Before she was my wife, she was the only person that would go out of her way to email me or get a message to me asking how my week was going. No other girlfriend ever did that. If I didn't log on to MSN and strike up a conversation or send the first text, I wouldn't get anything. I kept every email she sent me. Turns out she has all of mine in a folder too. That's adorable. Cute couple goals right there. Manners always make me happy. Also positive talk too. How they act if they have to explain something to you or help you. Any situation really where they end up being dominant, in a lack of a better word. Do they make you feel good or stupid/weak in that situation? This is mine too. How a partner imparts information is super important to me. I find it incredibly sexy when someone gets excited to explain something they clearly love. The impulse to share what you love rather than condescend is huge.